You're going to
Ah,
embarrass Claire. That's exciting.
I want to embarrass Claire. All will be revealed shortly. How are you though, Abby? What have you been up to? Anything good?
I bought a house yesterday. That's
Oh my word.
exciting.
Incredible.
Yes, yes.
What are the things you're most excited about this house?
The garden. It's got a wraparound garden and it's got like a forest in the garden. There are two protected trees because they're the oldest trees in that particular part of the town. And yeah, it's just amazing. So I'm very excited.
Oh, I love that. That sounds amazing. Well, hopefully hear more about that in a bit. Stuart, what are you excited about?
Oh, there's a new film I want to see.
Oh yeah. Which one?
It's called The Ritual.
The Ritual.
Yeah,
Tell us more.
it's a film that's making waves in the Catholic world. So I feel I ought to see it.
Mhm.
It's a remake of The Exorcist, but it's based on the real story that The Exorcist was based on.
That sounds scary.
Oh
So
my word.
yeah,
What's
well,
it called
hopefully it
again?
will
The
be.
Ritual.
It's called The Ritual. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. There's quite a lot of Catholic themed films, Stuart, aren't there? Some really, really good ones like
I know.
Conclave and
Yeah.
etc. What are your favourites?
Oh well, there's a lot, isn't there? I really enjoyed Conclave last year,
Yes. Yes.
which was really timely because I happened to be going over to Rome pretty much at the time of the conclave. So that was really good. The Mission is a classic. I like The Mission.
Yes.
Um, yeah, there's quite a few actually.
Two Popes.
Two Popes. There's a really good one if you can manage a foreign language film called Of Gods and Men,
Oh
which
yeah.
is
Oh, I've
set.
heard of that.
It's really good. It's set in Algeria. It's a true story, and it was a group of monks who were living in a predominantly Muslim area, and they served the local community. But Islamist terrorists moved into the area and were threatening people. And the French government, because these monks were French, said, "We've got to bring you home." And they had a meeting as a community and said, "No, our mission is here to serve these people. We'll stay." And they stayed. And eventually, of course, they were martyred. But it's a really powerful, moving film. So yeah, watch it. It's really good.
Not a happy ending, Stuart. Although
Not
it
a happy ending, but it's
depends if you take the eternal perspective, I imagine.
true. But it is such a moving film. I mean, it takes a
Oh,
lot for me to sort of get weepy at a film, but it was so good.
okay. Okay. And in what language is it?
It's in French.
Excellent, because my son's homework is to watch French movie with English subtitles, so that
Well,
could
there
be
you
the
are.
one.
Just preparing for it.
Okay, yeah, he quite likes a bit of violence. Katie, what are you excited about?
Oh gosh, what am I excited about? My weekend already, probably.
Yes, yes. What are you doing at the weekend?
Um, well, actually, just before the weekend, I should say, I'm excited to see my friend's new baby, which has been
Oh,
born a little bit earlier than expected. So it's Dinky Dino, it's absolutely tiny.
okay.
But I'm looking forward to, we're going to take them a meal on Tuesday and on Thursday and see them. So
So fun. Love that. Weekend plans, very exciting. I went to our bagel shop in Cheltenham and we had bagels on Sunday, and it was just something I was just craving. I was watching a show, it had lots of bagels in it. It was based around Judaism. I don't know whether anyone's seen Nobody Wants This show
Yes,
on Netflix.
love that
Yeah.
show.
Loads of bagels. So I
Loads of
kept looking at the
bacon.
bagels going, I need some bagels with seeds. And I was delighted. Any other excitements? Noel, Rachel, Matt, we're looking at you. Who'd like to go next? Anything really
Excitements
excited about?
of the weekend or upcoming?
No, it can be either looking forward to or something you're celebrating.
Celebrated my little boy's seventh birthday on yesterday, which is
Oh,
awesome.
amazing. What was one moment of the day that was precious or that you enjoyed or was fun?
When he's opened his presents, all of them. Two of them. He got a scooter which he wanted, which he's well happy about, and also he got a new game for his computer, so he's super happy about that as well.
I love that. Right, that's so cute. Rachel or Noel, either of you like to share one? You can
And
pass.
we're totally redecorating. I mean, like literally, it's gone. The plaster's off the walls. We're back to the old brick.
Hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that being done.
Wow, well done. That's progress, Rachel. As my mother-in-law, who some of you know, often says, you have to have mess to progress. And that's true. It always
Oh,
comes to mind.
good.
It's good, it's good. Noelle, would you like to share anything?
I don't have anything big that's coming to mind, so I'm okay to pass. Thanks.
That's okay. Remember my bagel example? It does not have to be big for later in the call. Now I'm going to boast on behalf of Claire, who has passed her giant accreditation for coaching, and it's hard. It's hard. She has done so well. Typical nurturer, didn't think she knew enough to pass it, so we decided she was going to do a mock exam. I knew she'd pass. I knew she could do it because she's so good. She knows these tools so well. She's been living them for 3 years. And she absolutely smashed it. So she is now an official giant leadership coach, which is just incredibly exciting. Well done, Claire. How'd you feel?
Yeah, good. Relieved,
Yeah.
surprised, exhausted. And
That's
actually, on the way out to do my exam, I don't know if you can see that, but I managed to whack my hand like on the corner of our, like, one of those just freak things. So as I was sitting here like typing away, my hand was just...
Oh my goodness.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing
yeah,
resilience.
I'm
Well
proud.
done. You could have used that as an excuse not to do the exam, but did you? No, you did not. You continued. Inspiring. Right, we're going to jump into the call today. We've had apologies.
Can I just double check with you guys? Nobody's in the same... Stuart and Matt, you're not in the same room. No one. No.
I'm on my own,
I think Stuart's at home, I think.
all by myself.
All by
abandoned.
yourself. Sad. You won't be in a minute. You'll be in a breakout room soon. So we've got apologies from Kate and from Di today. So, which is a shame because it's a really good one. I hope you all managed to look at the altitude sessions in advance and you've got some thoughts. I'd love to hear them. With a slightly smaller group, we should be able to hear lots from all of you, which is wonderful. So we're going straight into our mindset for today. So give me a thumbs up when you can see the fish. Yay. Okay. So here is, now I just want to explain before I pull this up that this is quite funny because this is a quotation from a pop song. But you'll probably see the relevance in a minute. It's a bit of an experiment, but I thought it might be fun because it just feels quite relevant. I'm not going to sing it. You'll be pleased to know. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag, drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel so paper thin, like a house of cards, one blow from caving in? Now, I should have kept the quotation who it was from off the screen. Would anyone have got it? Hands up if you would have got that. You know that song, Abby. She likes to belt that one out.
A bit of Katy Perry.
Every morning in the car to work, I tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
By the way, no.
Amazing. But I wonder how you'd put that feeling. I think she encapsulates that feeling pretty well. That's what singers do best, don't they? They put something into words that we can all associate with. And just that sense of feeling a bit flimsy or a bit off balance is the feeling that she's tapping into there. And I wonder if you've ever felt like that. It might have been that you felt like that this morning or last weekend, or you can remember a time, a few months ago when you were feeling like that. Often, sometimes we just have a moment of feeling like that every day. And actually, what we're trying to do with these tools as we look at altitude is we're trying to build altitude for life. We're trying to build altitude for a productive life where we can break new ground and where we can scale new barriers, just like Claire did with the exam this week, where we can do things without it actually flooring us completely, or we don't feel like we collapse like a house of cards. So more challenges can come, but we have what we need, the strength that we need in order to be able to do that. So rather than feeling like a paper thin house of cards, what we're looking to do as we do this process is this, and these are words from Isaiah 35 verse 3 for today. Strengthen the feeble hands, steady the knees that give way. That's what we're trying to do. These tools are designed to just throw a spotlight on different parts of our body, if you like, different parts of the body, our community, and the people we're working with as well, and to strengthen those aspects that perhaps are weak. Perhaps they're in our blind spot. So we've never really given them any focus, and we've never done anything to intentionally strengthen them. Well, that's what we're doing today, is we're thinking about how we can bring strength to some particular areas of our lives. So that's the mindset for today, is it's about strengthening. If you can look at the weightlifter there in the middle, I don't know whether any of you do any weightlifting. Lots of people are doing it at the moment. You don't have to do massive weights in order to enjoy some weightlifting. But what weightlifters often wear is a belt around their waist in the core of their being. In the core of their being, they have a strengthening leather, strong aspect. And that is to distribute the weight in the place where it can have most effect, where it can actually keep you most balanced and grounded. And when you learn to lift weights in the right way, you've got the technique correct, you can build yourself up to lifting heavier weights without it having it flooring you or without it having a negative impact on you. So that's what we're looking at today with this core tool that is the first tool that you were looking at. And the core tool suggests that there is this key space in the middle, rather like the weightlifter's belt, that is the intersection between three parts of your awareness. And those three parts comprise IQ, which is skills intelligence, productivity, if you like, task awareness, competency, being able to do things, and being able to have the things you need to do those things as well. So being resourceful, being focused on tasks, moving things forward and building your competency in your area. So that's the IQ side of things. And then we have the EQ side of things, emotional quotient or intelligence. And that's us being others aware. Are we aware of how others might be feeling? For some of us, that has come naturally. Some of us have always had that ability just to sense the room or sense the individual, to know when someone isn't quite themselves and how they might be feeling and be able to respond in turn. And others of us perhaps aren't so others aware or have had to become more intentional in that space. And then there's a third area which you may never have thought about before doing this altitude course or before doing your insights with Bible Society, and that's personality quotient, being self-aware. Are you aware of your tendencies? Do you know what you're really good at? I hope you do. I hope you know where your superpowers are. That can be quite steadying at your core to go, do you know what? Rather than focus all the time on what I'm not as good as someone else at doing, to remember that this is how I'm wired, these are my strengths. And the more I can align my time with my super strengths, the more balanced I will feel and the more energy I will have as well. So when those three are all in balance and they're all growing, then we can have a strong core. What can happen though is one or two of us here on the call might be really good in one of those rings, but not so good in a couple of them. Or others of us may have really built out two of the rings, but have not done much work on the third. So if you're fairly new to Five Voices, then you may still be building up that personality quotient and the other two may be lower down. Or you may be aware now through the personality work you've done, you may be aware that your IQ or your EQ are slightly in priority over one another. Because some of you will have traded them up, will have made sure that they're level, and some of us will have been more accidental in those areas. So what do we do with that? Well, one of the ways is to think about tendencies and priorities. Now, these are really generalizations. Some of you have voices that are a heart-led voice and a head-led. Some of you have a double dose of head-led and a double dose of heart-led. But let me give you a clue as to what I mean and which voices go into both. So voices that tend to be head-led and therefore more IQ driven, or priorities seem to be more IQ or competency based, would be your pioneers, your guardians, and your creative pioneers. In Myers-Briggs, they are the thinkers or the T's. So it's not saying that if you're not one of those, you don't have a high IQ. That's completely wrong. There are people with high IQ who aren't in those brackets, And the same vice versa. There are people who are pioneers, guardians, and creative pioneers who haven't necessarily really worked hard on their competency and their skills. But this is just a generalization. These tend to be priorities for those three. And for the nurturers, the connectors, and the creative connectors, the heart-led aspects or the emotional quotient tends to be more accessible, more naturally, or it tends to be more of a priority. So those are generalizations, but it gives you a clue to begin from to say which one you tend to be more intentional with or which one you tend to prioritize as well. So is there something that is sort of mismatched or imbalanced here as you glance at those tools? So that's the first tool, and it leads in really nicely to the next tool where we look at present and productive. Before we do though, just be capturing your thoughts so far and just jot it down. Which of those three areas do you think you might need to be more intentional in? IQ, task aware, EQ, others aware, or PQ, self-aware. So just capture one of those three areas. And you were asked on your preparation to give it a percentage. So if you've got those to hand, that's worth sharing shortly when you go into your breakout rooms as well. So let's move on then to the next part where we're thinking about present or productive. And it links very much with this space as well. So are you more present or are you more productive? I used to work in a boarding house. I lived there for 8 years when I was straight out of university and before I got married to James. And I used to have to supervise prep work in the evenings. So the girls would all be in their rooms, or supposedly in their rooms, doing their prep and their homework. But there was always 1 or 2 girls who would be wafting around the corridors, claiming to be looking for a pencil or trying to find out the French vocabulary list. And they weren't really. What they knew they were trying to do was to find some friends. They were looking for companionship. They were like, I'm a bit bored. I need to be present with someone. I need to talk. I can't be bothered to do this homework. Let's find some people. So some of us by default just have that tendency to want to prioritize being present. And we find it easy if someone rings up, we're trying to do a bit of work, but if someone rings up and says, come on, let's go and do this, to just drop the work, down tools and go out. And that's fun. But also the question would be, when does the work get done? But if the work gets done and you're being present, then that's all the better. Others of us might find it easier to access the productivity side of things. So perhaps for some of us, we really find it hard to play until all the work is done. And that's great. We're reliable, we're competent, we get the work finished, which is wonderful. But the question we need to ask ourselves is, will the work ever actually all be done? And do we sometimes need to be a bit more boundaried about work, to put some boundaries around emailing and around work meetings and just getting that one extra thing done, and sometimes foregoing seeing people? So it's something to ask yourself now. So just like you did with the IQ, EQ and PQ, can you just try and answer that question? I'm not going to delve too deeply into 5 gears today because we've got a few sessions to do that. But it's just this question. Are you more present or are you more productive? And which of those sides of life needs your intentionality today? Okay, so we're going to pause there and we'll come back to the core process and any questions on 5 gears shortly. But before we do, are there any questions on the core tool or on the present or productive dichotomy before we go into breakouts? Good. I really want you to come back and share whatever you have found interesting about these things so far, because I know there'll be insights for everyone to share. So let's drop into breakouts and we'll see you on the other side, ready to share. Thank you so much. So who'd like to go first?
I can go first.
Thank you. That'd be great.
We were talking about, well, I'll go for me. I was saying that I'm definitely more on the productive side of things. And I think that's something I was saying to Matt has been hit home for me a lot in taking this course, has just been realizing my tendency towards wanting to get things done, wanting to be efficient, wanting to work hard, and having to sort of slow down, realize there will always be work and pay attention to people more. So that's sort of what I've been learning a lot. And I think from my IQ, EQ, and PQ that I would like to say that I do all of them and I'm quite good in all of them. But I guess if there's one I could be higher in, it would be others aware. Just because I think I am focused on being self-aware, but also the task at hand. So I think focusing on being others aware could be the higher one. Yeah.
Yeah, really good. And obviously we'll get on to practical ways to be able to do that as well. It's also helpful, isn't it, to think, what do I think, but also what do I think my team think as well, those around me, the people I work with most commonly as well. What's some feedback I've had from them, or what's some patterns in feedback I've had from my close friends, family and my team as well. That's worth listening to as well. Really helpful, Noelle. I love that. Matt, what about you?
We're kind of quite similar to Noelle, to be fair. Yeah, I'm definitely much more productivity focused. Always have been all my life. It's just I want to get things done, and I drive to get things done. Usually at a detriment of myself, and definitely at a detriment of being present, 100%. And for me, that sort of manifests itself in getting home from work as an example, and not being able to switch off, and leaving time away from everything to switch off. But I know that, and the kids are gradually getting that, and the wife as well, which is good. And also in the day, it's like that task productive, bouncing several tasks at once and moving lots of things on, a bit forward. And again, it's being stuck in the moment, getting things done, and not necessarily being present. But I'm self-aware enough to know that I do need to drag my head out of that because I've got a team to manage, and be present for everybody, which I think I do quite well. No one's complained yet. But I'm aware of all that, which is the main thing for me. In terms of which sort of circle, I kind of need to think about more. Part of me says more the emotional side because of what I just said, but I'm also mindful that I do put a real good effort in the emotional side to make sure everyone's okay and people are valued and people include all that sort of stuff. So I'm not quite sure, I suppose, the answer.
Do you feel balanced? Do you feel as though you've got enough strength in your core to be able to deal with any challenges that come your way, or are there any signs sometimes that
I always say yes. I haven't had a challenge I haven't got over before. I think like most of us, I go in, I think I get like not the panic, but the anxiety about a new challenge because like, I don't quite know what this means. But I know once I get past that anxiety piece and I just rationalize things a little bit, I get through it and I succeed, I think. In my
really
opinion.
good. Yeah, really good. And actually, it's worth saying that actually having some anxiety or having some fear isn't a bad thing. If we don't ever have anxiety or fear, we're probably not stretching ourselves enough. But it's saying, do we know what to do in those moments? Do we know how to bring strength to ourselves? Do we know how to bring self-support? What to put in place? What scaffolding to put in place to make sure that we have enough so that we don't feel, overwhelmed like that plastic bag flopping around. Great. So we've heard first from Noelle and Matt, and it's interesting you both said that the challenge for you might be being very productive and that being the priority. And so you're aware of that. Both of you are Guardian first voices. Tell me if that's changed. But so that does go with the tendency. It does go with the tendency so far. So, but the other voices we have here are the more heart-led relational voices. So Katie, let's come to you next. You can always pass, by the way, guys, when I pick on you. Katie, anything from you on the two tools?
Yeah, I was saying to Stuart that I thought I was pretty self-aware until you asked me the question, am I more present or productive? And then I really struggled. So I'm obviously not as self-aware as I thought I am, but I'm definitely, I feel like my strongest is probably others aware. And that I feel like links to my green side. I feel like in a group setting, I'm very much looking out for how other people are receiving it or feeling in that moment. Probably sometimes at the detriment to me actually listening to what's going on. Because if it's something serious, I'm really worried about how others are doing in that scenario. I feel like my self-awareness is improving probably through doing things like this and insights and that kind of thing. And I've actually found it really helpful. And one of the things someone asked me once when I was trying to work out whether I was more present or productive was if I was on my way to a meeting and someone stopped me and said they needed to talk, what would I do? And I was like, oh, well, it very much depends on the context. So my blue bit was coming in. I need more details to know whether I do that or not. But it did always land on, I'd always want to make sure that person was okay first before I just said, no, I can't. So I think I'd probably be more present.
Present's the priority, but as a nurturer guardian, you probably have the productivity fairly close behind as well. But it can be a tendency. I knew a nurturer who, whenever I met them, they would always be late, but I'd always know it was a good reason. It would always be someone they were on the phone to them and they hadn't hung up, or they needed to see somebody, and so there was just that slight bent towards the present, sometimes at the expense of being productive. But that's only slight, isn't it? For some of us have a really big strength in one area and much more intentionality in the other, but yours seem quite close together.
It makes sense that it could be quite close, because I feel like there's definitely been times where I've maybe put the present side first, felt like I'm behind, and then I've worked extra to catch up on the productivity side, but then I've really suffered after that because I've not been present at home.
Yes.
So if the
yes.
present bit isn't there for me, it's obviously a very important thing because I get very low if I can't be present with people.
And
So
that's
yeah.
where the personality awareness comes in as well.
Mhm.
What are your key drivers? What's going to drain your energy, and where are your priorities as well? And how important family is. Yeah, I love that. There's more there, but let's go to Rachel next. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah, so I'm definitely more overproductive than under present.
Mm-hmm.
I find it quite hard to be present with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I say, and some of it is I struggle if somebody's quite flowery or what I think of as waffly. So I find it hard to do that, but I know I need to do that because otherwise I can, it's very abrupt because I'm just straight to business and things. But I'm also very aware of how people are feeling. So I'm usually correct when I can tell somebody's not quite right, and things like that. So it's not that I'm not aware. I think it's just more I'm more focused on what needs to be done. And I will always follow up with somebody if I know they're not comfortable, but it wouldn't necessarily be. I think I'd probably do it around in the wrong order. I'd sort of do the business and think, oh, there's something wrong with them. I'll have a chat with them afterwards and see what the matter is, rather than I'll sort that out and then I'm going to go and have a coffee while I sort this out or something.
Yeah. There's no right or wrong though, is there? Sometimes it might be right to get the work done because it's not appropriate to get into that stuff in a group setting, and it might be more helpful for them to do it one-to-one. But it's just being able to calibrate those two aspects, isn't it? It's not that conducive to a good work situation if the individual is always being prioritized over the work. That's not always going to be the best for the work. The work will suffer and then there won't be a job. You could see it like that. But equally, it's not good if everything's just business as usual when someone is really struggling either. So it's being aware of both of those things as the team leader. Any ideas, Rachel, on EQ, PQ and IQ, and which one might need your attention?
Well, I was pretty balanced on those, so I actually sort of gave myself a step for each one.
Great.
But I think probably the strongest one is I think it was the EQ, and I need to work on how I bring challenge.
Okay, brilliant. So yeah, the feedback seminar next week, Rachel.
I was thinking that was very
So yeah, I'm really enjoying preparing that. Lots of new material there. Okay, so EQ, how do you bring challenge in a way that is, helpful and effective and healthy? Yeah, great. Stuart, let's come to you next.
Yeah, I think, definitely, I think more present than productive. And I will drop things, process things, task things to prioritize a person and then pick it up later and use my own time to make up the difference. And I guess, said to Katie, I might have more flexibility in doing that because I'm on my own. And yeah, I find that giving people the time life-giving. I gave the example that I can think of a couple. I mean, there have been many times at work when somebody's stopped me, either in the office or rang me and said, "Can I just have a chat, please?" And it's nothing to do with me or my work, but they just want a voice, an ear to listen to them. But I don't know. I used an example from a film I saw recently, which I think is quite popular. You might have seen it. A Knives Out mystery called Wake Up Dead Man. I won't give spoilers in case people haven't seen it, but there's a scene in that where a young priest who is wrapped up in a crime investigation literally has no time. He has to move on. He's on the phone to somebody who he needs a bit of information from, and she gives it, but then she stops and says, "Father, can I talk to you?" And he's like, "Oh, yes." And then he walks off into another room, closes the door, and spends ages talking to her and praying with her. And I thought, yeah, if I'm being totally honest, that is what I do. I will do that, and it happens. So I think in that sense, I'm definitely more present than productive. In those three areas, I think I'm fairly balanced in them. Numbers wise, I mean, they were all very close. 35 was the top, 32 the lowest. But I think I need to top them all up, because I think when there's a really kind of big challenge on me, I can become quite fragile in all of those areas. So I want them all topped up. My natural kind of inclination would be more towards the emotional, but I've always been a good student. So I think I've artificially topped up the intelligence bit. Probably that I gave that the highest number. And my own kind of formation in seminary and doing insights and so on has forced my personality, self-awareness up as well. So I think that's where the balance comes from. But yeah, I want to strengthen all three.
I love that, because I was going to ask you, you make sure that you are intentional in both the EQ and the IQ space. But I was going to say, what impact does that have on you personally? Because if your personality type has a tendency to prioritize the individual in front of you and catch up later, then there's a cost to that. You also said you find it quite energizing to help people. So maybe that cost is mitigated by the fact that it's a win-win. But I was interested in that for you, Stuart.
Yeah, I think I think that's the key thing, really. I do find it energizing. And I've always been somebody who I would do my best kind of work, writing, copywriting, answering emails and so on, either really early in the morning or at night. I mean, yeah, I used to be the butt of jokes at university and seminary that I do my essays really early in the morning and then be wandering around in the afternoon wondering why nobody wants to get a coffee. Yeah, I mean, that's just, I suppose, the way I am.
Yes, work first and then play later. I can definitely associate with that. It's just one to be aware of, isn't it? I remember, I'm thinking of someone who some time ago who realized that they were prioritizing people who needed them, and that they had something to give. And that was quite imbalanced because they were just doing a lot of the giving in friendships. And their aha was to realize that their personality type could rescue people. And actually, when they actually asked themselves, who do I actually enjoy spending time with? You know, who do I want to go on holiday with? Where is it a win-win? Where do we both give and take, you know, and actually enjoy an equal friendship? And the aha was, I don't really have many of those equal friendships. That was for the person. So that's one to be aware of. That's an example of the personality intel that can really help us, I think, to become more strong in our core and less drained. So just one to watch is maybe run that filter a little bit on our friendships as well. You know, I've got a birthday coming up and I'm spending it with someone who is a win-win friend. Claire's smiling. We're going to see birds. Look, got my bird jumper on. We're going to see birds and we're going to have a lovely time. Abby, over to you. What have you got?
Yeah, actually, what you just said then about the person and their aha moment, I was like, that's me. Is she talking about me?
Go ahead.
So that's interesting. Yeah, in terms of presence versus productivity, I can't even think of the word then. I definitely focus, I kind of swing between both. I think I'm probably more presence focused, like that's my default, I think, but then I feel really guilty about it. And then we'll often go back the other way and then spend loads of time being as productive as I can. And then I was thinking about, so obviously you need to work on that balance. And then in terms of the IQ, EQ and PQ thing, IQ and EQ is my highest, I think. And then PQ is my lowest. And I think that comes from being very focused on others and then just sort of forgetting that I just about myself, really. Like, again, even with this, it's taken me ages. I have rubbed out the scores and rewritten them for this thing so many times because I'm like, I don't actually know. I don't know who I am. Don't know what I do, that kind of thing. So I think, yeah, that's something I definitely need to. And I am working on. And I think, like Katie said, this sort of thing has really helped with that. And just hearing what other people say, then it helps me kind of relate and go, oh, yeah, that is definitely very similar to me. So, yeah.
Really good, really good. So that might be a place for intentionality for you, is to delve into what it is to be a connector creative pioneer. What does it mean? And a really good way to do that for all of you is to look on the platform at the voice order series. So it's really fun. It's something you can have on while you're cooking or while you're doing something else. If anyone irons, that's another good time to do it as well. I iron probably once a month. And just click on your voice order series if you haven't already. It's absolutely essential listening. It really is. Understanding who you really are, and it's just going to give you these habits to form for you to get into so that you can know yourself to lead yourself, because no one else is going to do that work for you. It's really important you do that for yourself, and you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give what you don't have in your hand. So you looking after you first is in everyone else's interests. So hopefully that motivates you to do that. Let's drop then into core process. I know from the feedback that 1 or 2 people can find core process quite hard to do alone, but that it hopefully helps when we do it together and when you hear some examples as well. So call it is where you say, okay, here is the tool or the aspect of the tool that has been most helpful to me today. Okay, so for example, I might say, okay, the call it for me is a combination of the 2 tools. Is that I know that I can be more present with people than I am. My default is to work hard and to carry on working, and that's me calling it. And owning it is what am I doing or not doing that's contributing to this. So probably don't have enough boundaries on that, I would have said some time ago. Response is where I say, okay, I'm going to put in some boundaries. I'm going to switch my phone off earlier in the evening so that I can actually have a clearer head for time with God, for time with James, and to be able to wind down so I sleep well, so I can wake up on the front foot. Now, again, that's just very general. So the execution is literally the when. When am I going to do this? What's it going to look like? What are the details? So execution is I'm going to set a timer on my phone to go off to say to shut me down. So 8:15, that's when, and I have an accountability group that keep me accountable on that as well. So my Bible study group, I'm in a group with 6. We've just done a sort of 90-day challenge, and we said, right, that was one of my rules of life. 8:15, my phone goes off, and that's the execution. Occasionally, I might make an exception if one of the kids is out late or something or other, but usually it's trying to just say, I don't need to go back on my phone because otherwise I'll just feel a slave to it all night. So it's something specific. Now, 1 or 2 of you said, actually, it's all 3 of the areas. They're all in equal measure, but I still like to create capacity in all 3. So you might be able to think of a keystone intervention that could help all 3. So when I did this 3 years ago, I said to myself, actually, I could develop my expertise in the coaching space and become more technically skilled. And the own it was, I knew that there was this big accreditation, which is the Myers-Briggs equivalent, PLBs, we call it, predictive leadership behaviors. And I hadn't done it. I needed to do it. It's going to cost a lot. It's going to be a lot of resource and a lot of training, but I needed to do it. So my response was sign up for the next cohort, which I did, completed it all. And looking back now, when I saw that in my notes, I was so pleased with myself because it did what I set out to do. It helped me to drive up my technical skills for coaching, but it also, because I'm learning about personalities and realizing how head-led my personality is, I realized actually what it would look like and how I could build that muscle of emotional intelligence as well, so that they were equal. And just knowing who I am as a personality and knowing other personalities too, it has massively helped me in all 3 areas. So I think thinking about what you can do to build all 3, if all 3 is a goal for you, just to create more capacity, could be really, really helpful as well. So thinking about, hopefully that's giving you some ideas. It could be training, it could be resourcing, it could be boundaries, it could be rhythms as well. What are those specific things that you can do in the area that you've identified in order to improve your core? Okay, so back into breakout, unless any questions, stay on if there is, but otherwise back into breakouts for a few minutes, just to get clear. 5 minutes max, I think, Claire, just to get clear on one thing you can do that is specific. And you can pick either tool or you can do both tools like I've done. I want to get some onion goggles.
Back.
What goggles are you getting?
Onion goggles.
I think I made a lentil dal last night and I felt like I bleached my eyeballs. And then when I went to take my eye makeup off, it went all over again. Like,
Oh no. I'm allergic to onions, so we never
Are
have onion
you?
in our house. Yeah. Oh, I can't. It's sad because onion is delicious,
yeah, and
but
it's
it
good
means
for
I
you.
never have that situation.
Yeah.
That is very sad. Very,
Yeah.
very sad.
It
But
is.
tell us what your next step is. What's your
Mine.
execution? Yes.
Okay, so my call it is my PQ is low, and my own it is that I put others' needs and preferences on top of my own. And so I'm going to set some boundaries, and I'm going to say no to a specific person that I'm not going to name / group of people that I'm not going to name once a month.
Okay, great. Okay, amazing.
Thanks.
So good. That means that you will need to be accountable on that. So perhaps there's somebody on the call, a buddy that you could be accountable to, and how that goes, because that's going to be hard for you to do because you will want to do what pleases them. But remember, every no is a yes to other things. So thinking about what the yes
That's
is.
another good way of looking at it.
What's the win? What's the vision? Rachel, what have you got?
So my call it is I find it hard to be present with others.
Mhm.
My own it is I'm thinking of what I need to do or say. I can't remember what the R is now. Respond. Is to focus on them for the first 5 minutes of a meeting.
Yeah.
My execute is, so when I meet them online or in person, I'm going to ask them something that they told me about the last time I met them, which I will write down at the time.
Mhm.
Or if I haven't got something that I know about them. So I'll ask them about something that I know.
Really good.
I'm going to listen for one thing to remember and check on next time, and ask at least one clarifying or go deeper question about what they've said.
Amazing, like a checklist. Little checklist that they don't have to know about. But actually, just because you're being intentional doesn't mean that it's not genuine.
No, yeah, it would be.
So well done.
I do want to be,
yes.
I'm interested in other people. It's getting my head out of I've got to get this done.
Yes. Yeah. Really good. Really good. Knowing when to go slow with something and when to pull away. Katie Tang, what have you got? I love your name, Katie Tang. Great.
I said to Stuart, I think I have 2 call-its that I need to figure out what to do with. So because I feel like presence and productivity might be quite close for me, I might split my day. People mornings, productivity afternoons.
Okay.
If I can try and get meetings and the people side of things in the morning and then just leave my afternoons just to get through my to-do list, that might help. But I also thought one major thing I just need to do is have a conversation with my line manager about my job description in general, because I feel like that would help me. Because I feel like there's a disconnect between what I feel like my role is versus what the organization expects me to be doing. And I feel like we need to land that, which will help me know whether I actually have the space to be more present in things versus physically sitting there and designing things.
That sounds like a really good next step, Katie. And I would encourage you, before you sit down and chat, to get clear on what's your win. What do you want? What might you be prepared to compromise on? Fine, but what do you want to make sure gets established in your job description? What's one non-negotiable for you? If you get clear on that, you're less likely to come away feeling a bit like you haven't been heard. Right, just quickly go around the others. What's one thing that you are committing to doing, Stuart?
I want to work on productivity, so I'm going to sit down and properly populate Microsoft To Do, so I'm not at the whims of whoever asks me and appears the most urgent. I'll sit down and do that on Friday when most people are off.
So good, so good. Really block off things so people can't hijack your calendar. So good. Matt?
It's actually doing something that I put in place a long time ago, but I didn't keep to it. And that, I've lost my page now, but broadly it is about the productivity and present piece. And when I leave work, basically. So at the end of the day, I have 15 minutes in the day, which is basically end of day close down, which is basically clear the desk, clear my mind, use my OneNote to write down, okay, these are things I need to think about next tomorrow, day after, whatever it is. So it's out of my brain. I try not to think about it.
Yeah.
And essentially sticking to it, because it's there and I just get stuck in doing things and
Really
being
good.
accountable for it.
I love that. That's probably quite helpful for others on the call as well, just to be reminded. What's your wind down routine? What's your gear change routine? How do you move from being productive to being present with the family? How can you help yourself move? It might be putting on a particular song in the car, and that song tells you your whole body and your mind that we're switching gears here. Noelle, what have you got?
Mine is about moving towards being more present as well and less into productivity. And I couldn't think of this when Matt and I were talking, but I thought about it after, which is that I have started going to prayer every morning. So we have 15 minutes of prayer at the start of the day. And I think I've always viewed it, because I'm starting work and I love the start of the day and I'm like so excited to get into work, that prayer seems like something slowing me down almost,
Yes.
when I love prayer. So
Yes.
instead, I've been going to prayer every morning for 15 minutes, and I've found it to be really good. So I feel like that's something that's helping me to be more present, and it's a social thing, and it's prayer, which is awesome. So yeah.
Love that. Great. Well done. So thank you so much for sharing some top tips there, and I'm sure they've been helpful for others too. Last word from Claire. Anything to say?
No, I was literally just going to say, Katie's popped it in the chat. Actually, she was just saying she used to go for a walk coming home after work as a kind of transition. I was just going to say to Matt, what can you do like in the car once you've done your kind of close down that signals the next gear change?
I used to go for a walk as well, because my garage office is right next to my house. So I used to take a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
It changes whatever you kind of need, really. But routine of some sort does help.
Yeah. Love it. There's going to be loads more of that as we do a deep dive on the 5 gears over the next few weeks. But it's a brilliant, brilliant tool, and there's so many layers to it. So I'm looking forward to doing that with you guys. So thank you so much. Do reach out anytime with anything. We're here for you. Great work today. Well done. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Well done.
Bye.
Well done, everyone. Brilliant
Quick
work.
question: where do we need to get to for next session? It's 17 for this one, wasn't it? What session?
So 18 was my form.
It's 2 each time, basically, Matt.
2 each time, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, let me share with you before you go. Let me share with you the document that you got given at the beginning that may have just gone off.
The Excel.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got that, and it's in our little chat we got as well. It just didn't have dates on there. I'm detail kind of guy, so having the dates on it saying like session 1, 2, 3, 4, get here, and be here in these sessions helps. But that's
fine. 18 and 19.
That's perfect.
Does it not have all the titles?
It says that in the email, but it's on when you print them out, like it literally says 17, whereas we haven't got the numbers in our form. We've just got the names.
That's fine. So I've got to literally get to another meeting. I'm back to back.
Yeah, go.
Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, Matt. Bye. I'm thinking of this